What's up, Quarter 3 show fans? My name is Alex.
My name's Ross.
My name is Zach.
And we're back. We had a brief hiatus there. We had personal lives to attend to. We just had a lot going on, but we're back here. We kind of gave you guys some space. Now it's heating up in the playoffs. We're into the conference finals. Zach doesn't like his beer at all.
Weird stuff.
Ross picked it out, not me.
Such a girl beer.
Oh man, it's called a Citradelic. Anyways, we'll get right to the basketball.
It's got lime in it.
We're into basketball.
It's got lime in it.
All right.
Oh,
I'm not sweating outside. I don't want it to be refreshing.
What a beautiful day it was, though, here in Indy. It's always nice. Indy in May, 500. Fun stuff.
I have never been to the 500.
I'm going next Monday, first time ever to practice.
I've only been to Carb Day, never been to the race.
I've been a couple times. I'll be at the Pagoda Suite on Friday for work.
Oh,
What?
sweet. I will be thinking about you when you're there. I don't know why I would think of it. Anyways,
Just be jealous.
right now we've got one series already underway. Another series. We're filming this on Wednesday night at around 7:30. So the Eastern Conference Finals will get started here in an hour or so. But already Golden State's up 2-0 against the Spurs. We can get to that in a second. But let's just talk about round two, the semifinals. I guess just your overall thoughts. I personally thought round one was just more fun. Honestly, there just wasn't that much going on, and it was kind of underwhelming overall.
Same thing, pretty much. I mean, even the sweep by the Cavs of the Pacers was way more entertaining of the sweep of the Raptors. At least, we had it close. It seems like pretty much every game was close except for game 2. We were down and we came back. I mean, besides that, it was pretty much that was a boring second round for the Cavs on that part.
No, I agree. 2 sweeps, and only one game 7, and then the game 6 didn't really feel like
it was like a 40
a game at all. That was embarrassing. So yeah, compared to the first round, not the same quality of games for sure.
Yeah. So let's get right into probably some of the biggest storylines. So game 7 just wrapped up on Monday night. That was the Wizards and Celtics. The home team won every game. It was back and forth. Some really good play, obviously, from the guards. I mean, Isaiah Thomas, John Wall, and Bradley Beal were obviously the story of this series. What did you guys think of the series overall? I mean, obviously, I think John Wall took a huge step this playoffs. I think everyone's kind of talking about him being now at the elite level and saying how he was one of the best top 5 players of these playoffs so far.
Yeah, well, he took that shot. It was the no, yes kind of shot to win game 6.
Yeah,
and then game 7, he did not have a very good game for him. But yeah, John Wall overall, he got to showcase the skills that we all have seen before, but got to see it on a primetime stage, like the fast break, spin, wrap around to Gortat, or the fast break, spin, layup. Like, how does he control that? But then also he has a lot of out of control stuff. But yeah, I think that was the series of everyone. Take a look. John Wall's really good, and Bradley Beal, if he stays healthy, also really good. But that's where it stops for the Wizards, and they just need more.
Yeah, he almost won them the game too. Bradley Beal there in the last few minutes. He
that 4-point play.
He's awesome. He's when he's healthy. That's the thing. He's kind of like Eric Gordon, where he and Gordon both couldn't stay healthy the first few years, but now that they're both healthy, both have shown how good they can be.
John Wall played great, but I think for the series he was in the low 30s for shooting percentage.
Yeah.
Like 33%, 34%. I mean, that's not great. Obviously, once you get in the playoffs, you want your starters and your big-time players to take more shots. Obviously, defenses are going to focus on them more. Mm-hmm. He played good, but, I still think Isaiah Thomas had the upper hand. Obviously, they won the series. Yeah. More depth. And then, of course, Kelly Olynyk came in big in that last game. I don't know if he's got some...
That was crazy.
That was ridiculous.
Got some things he wants to resolve with Draymond Green after talking smack on his podcast. But
I tweeted, will Kelly Olynyk score more than 12 points in any of these games versus the Cavs? I don't think so.
He had 12 and a quarter, or 14 and a quarter, whatever it was.
So he finished with 26 or something?
26 points. I mean, he had a lot of open shots too, but, I think what the Wizards did, though, they said, okay, we can't let Isaiah Thomas beat us. We have to make the other guys beat us. And Olynyk just had the best game of his NBA career. And I think there are a couple of things Brooks could have done. He played Wall and Beal he played them the entire second half. They didn't have a single break. You can see how tired they were.
Did he play 7?
He played 7 guys.
Or 8 guys.
Oubre really didn't get it. Oubre wasn't a factor in the series after his suspension, and they only scored 5 bench points in Game 7. So I mean, obviously, they needed something. They needed something.
There's a lot of storylines with that. Like, I think Jennings, you got to see that he is done. He gave them nothing.
He's a head case.
He's a head case, that alone, but then skill-wise, he gave them nothing.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be the guy to come off the bench and give him points.
Give him something, yeah. I mean, who was their main off the bench? Mahinmi? Boban.
Once they acquired Boban, he was awesome during the regular
They didn't
season.
use him. Like, when he came in, like, he was just out there. I'm like, when he comes in, he's your sixth man. Set up some plays for him. Let him shoot, get some rest in a way for the other starters, and they didn't really play that way.
Yeah.
It was really the Isaiah Thomas solidifying that he is now really, really good, and all those teams who passed on him now are regretting that a lot.
And they were kind of before the playoffs talking about Otto Porter as potentially a max player.
Yeah.
That kind of pushed himself out of that category probably, unless somebody's really desperate just to pull in a name and they just throw crazy.
He had
like there.
Good moments, bad moments. Then he tried to post up Isaiah all the time, and then that wasn't even working. It was like, man, I don't.
He didn't seem very confident. I mean, he just seemed like he was. When the pressure was there, when, Game 7, Game 6, when they were right there on the brink of elimination, it just didn't feel like he had the confidence to make plays down the stretch.
As Pacers fans, do you miss Jan Mahinmi?
I mean, he's been injured all year, so it's kind of hard to judge his performance. But, I mean, Wizards fans are, he should be making $16 million a year.
Oops. Yeah.
But
another example of someone overpaid.
Yeah. We're big fans of the Joakim Noah New York Knicks contract here on the Corner 3 show. So let's go to the next series. Oh, I think the next most interesting series, because the other two were sweeps. The Spurs doing Spurs things versus the Rockets. So they win in 6. The first game they got blown out in San Antonio. Everyone, I think
I was like switching.
I think Ross and I recorded the show the day after
I picked the Rockets. I was like, ooh, Rockets got this now.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
And then Spurs just keep on being the Spurs, and Kawhi Leonard. I mean, after that series, it's hard not to say if the MVP voting ended that day after Game 6. He'd probably be MVP.
Sadly, as the Harden supporter all year long, as the guy who's been on the Harden bandwagon,
yep.
That Game 6 was like, dude.
His no-show, he just didn't show up.
He didn't show up. Like, they have no Kawhi Leonard, and this is a chance to go to Game 7. Yeah. And they got killed.
Yeah.
They just got killed, and I was like, well, you had Westbrook's end of the season, like the last 3 games he had, and then his record-breaking game, and then you have Game 6 where your superstar is supposed to step up and Harden does nothing.
114 to 75 was the final score.
Oh, so bad.
Didn't he not take a shot till 12 or something minutes into the game?
No, it's like 5 minutes left in the second quarter.
Okay, 17 minutes left of the game.
Isn't that crazy?
And
your
something
star
else,
player.
I'm not holding this against them, but those people who would be voting are going to hold the fact that they got killed that night, he didn't play well, and then right afterwards he goes clubbing all night down in Houston.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Really? The voting is done.
That's off. My bad. I forgot they were submitted. But they did. There'd be some writers out there holding that against them.
Well, there's a kind of a debate now. I mean, after seeing that performance and after it was such a close race, should the MVP voting be done, maybe after the conference finals or something like that?
I think it's a regular season vote. Well, so
I think it might be interesting, though, to make it after just the conference finals, not after the NBA finals, because the NBA finals, you have the NBA finals MVP. Mm-hmm. But let's say you were to push it to after the conference finals. That way you're saying, the finals are, a league of its own. No one talks about how many, except if you're Chris Paul, how many conference finals appearances you have, because he has none. No one talks about that.
There's no award for the first 3 rounds.
But everyone talks about the finals appearances.
Right.
Even if you haven't won, people still talk about Durant's one finals appearance in 2012. So I think there is somewhat of a case. Again, it's never happened before, so it's kind of like, looking back on history, then do you change votes? How does that work?
Is it named? I wait to look. Is it named a regular season MVP or is it NBA MVP?
It's just NBA MVP.
It's just NBA.
That's not a bad idea having another conference finals, because if you're in the MVP talk, then realistically your team should be in the playoffs.
You could do something about it,
and you can show you can really carry your team.
Yeah, like even though Westbrook loses in round 1, he at least looked like he gave an effort in that game when they lost. Whereas that Harden game, watching it, you're like, what is he doing? It's like he doesn't care.
It was awful.
It was really weird to see a player who's supposed to be the MVP, right, who just doesn't shoot. It was almost a lot of other podcasts talk about it. It was like that Kobe game where they're like, you shoot too much, and he goes, fine, let the other guys shoot, and he just sat, and then they lose.
He did it the wrong times. The times he should have drove or tried to get contact, he passed it out. The times he should have passed it out to the open man, he tried to get contact.
He had a lot of open threes where he tried to kick it and then steal. And it's like, you're trying to change up too much.
He looked awful from the start. It was bad.
But then, like you said, Alex, Spurs doing Spurs things. So outside Kawhi, who's really their star? They really don't have one, but yet they still win these games and win them decisively. The Spurs
it's supposed to be LaMarcus Aldridge.
I mean, but he did turn it on, though. He did turn it on after he got a lot of criticism. I remember, I think it was game 2 or game 3. I think
game 6 he did show up. That's right.
He just was off. I think he had like 3 rebounds. Then he since he showed up, but we'll talk about in a second how Kawhi's obviously out and he needs to step up here versus the Warriors. But it's just a testament. Everyone talks about how good Pop is, and it's just true. I mean, and when people talk about schemes and what is really a scheme and how does a coach really influence? I mean, he puts his guys in the best position to win a game. He eliminates. He's kind of like Bill Belichick. When he takes away your best weapon, he takes away your best weapon. He spaces the floor really well. He adapts to things really quickly. I mean, they got blown out in game 1 and they win the series in 6 games.
Yeah, every year I convince myself otherwise, and I pick someone else for Coach of the Year or someone else for MVP, but I kind of think like what Zach Lowe talks about every year with ESPN.
Yeah.
Popovich should win Coach of the Year every year. Yeah. I mean, really. And LeBron should win MVP every year. Those guys they don't maybe during the regular season have the same kind of drive as they do as the playoffs, but especially watching this playoff series, you're like, Popovich, whoa.
Someone's home. I don't know if you can hear on the podcast, but someone's home.
Stomping.
Popovich is amazing.
If you're listening, we're recording in a new remote location.
My basement.
We'll keep. I was going to say we're going to keep that disclosed, but in a high, performance studio.
This is a high performance studio. As you can tell by the graphics behind us. And the
trophy.
trophy.
You can see that.
I guess let's keep it because we got a lot to cover today. Let's move on to. I guess we can put the 2 sweeps together. So Cleveland sweeps the Raptors, and then Golden State sweeps Utah. So my take on this is that the sweeps were totally different in the fact that Toronto was never in the game. Never once in that series. No. Compared to the Pacers, who actually were in that series. But, I mean, it looks like Lowry might be gone with his comments saying that he's definitely going to test.
He already opted out.
Yeah, he opted out. Well, I think that was but just the way he talked about it was that, I don't see him coming back. And then I put in our notes here the whole Ibaka experiment here. So he had a half season with the Magic and then half a season here with the Raptors. Is his stardom kind of a fluke? Do you guys think? I mean, the talent's there, but I mean, how good is Serge Ibaka right now?
You mean without Durant and Westbrook, he really isn't that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how good is Serge Ibaka. I mean, what are they going to do next year? What are the Raptors going to do with Serge Ibaka next year? I mean, it's tough because they're not going to blow it up, but.
That's the big talk, right? Blow up the Raptors. Got to blow up the Raptors. They can't compete 2 years in a row against the same team. Can't do anything against it. They even built this team to beat the Cavs, and it didn't work. Problem is, I think the Raptors are getting where the Pacers were with the Roy Hibbert, David West era, and they're seeing that the big center who goes in the post, not the way to go, maybe perhaps. Yeah. And you want to keep like an Ibaka, but they're stuck with Valanciunas, so.
I think the Pacers definitely had more success, though. I mean, they had 3 years of contending with one of the best teams of all time.
But to your question on Ibaka.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I feel you're there.
I don't know.
He's only 27.
Yeah.
Seems like he's been in the league longer than that.
It feels like it.
Has he been in the league? Since 2009. Yeah. Wow. So
year
8
before
years.
Paul George.
8 years.
It's a long time.
No.
I don't know. Maybe he's peaked. He's hit his peak. He's not with the same team he was with before. You throw him to a crappy team in Orlando, can't do nothing there. Throw him to a team in Toronto that's supposed to be good. You had them, and you had
PJ Tucker.
And I was all aboard that train.
Yeah. A lot of people were too because they felt like Serge can kind of take out Love because he can move on the floor, and PJ Tucker can be that guy to match up with LeBron since Carroll hasn't really lived up to his contract. But then in contrast, we have the Golden State series where Utah, threw every punch they could at Golden State, and it was a competitive series. Is eerily similar to the Pacers Cleveland series in the fact that you felt like if Utah could win just one game and get the ball rolling, there could be a chance. But Golden State's just a juggernaut right now. We can talk about that in a second. But you guys have any thoughts on that series?
I think they would have had a better shot at it to give a steal a game or so if they had George Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it Toe? What did he have?
Yeah, Toe, something.
Something like that. Yeah, they didn't have him. So who's their backup point guard? That's
So they
Raul Neto.
Yeah, Neto and Mac, Shelvin Mack from Butler.
So yeah, you got those two guys out there trying to guard Thompson or Curry, whoever's bringing the ball up at the time.
Not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, so at least George Hill, he's got the length. He can play defense. He can kind of disrupt.
Yeah.
He's going to look to score more than he will to pass. So that's a big difference. If they had him, they're still going to get beat.
Yeah.
Maybe they can get a game, maybe 2.
It's the Warriors.
It's the Warriors.
What are you going to say? I agree.
At least they're not the Raptors. And
that was a series, though, for Gordon Hayward. I mean, he showed up, right? He was their star, the Jazz star, and he played well.
He's gonna get a maxes.
Is he leaving Utah to go somewhere else? That's the big talk right now.
I think we'll definitely do an NBA like off-season pod. We'll break like all the big free agents down. But
we'll save that. Think about it. Let us know your thoughts.
But I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, a lot of people are trying to talk about that. We'll definitely do for our listeners. We'll definitely do an NBA draft pod now that the lottery's out. We'll talk about the lottery later in this show. And wow, you guys picked up your beer at the exact same time. That was.
We'll try to do like the Golden State did.
Oh yeah, see the Golden State, the GIF or
all
whatever.
At the same time.
Yeah, they got mad. But yeah, we'll definitely do an NBA draft pod, and then we'll do a off-season pod just about free agents and kind of what we expect moving forward. Yeah. Oh
Harvest
yeah.
Snaps.
Harvest Snaps. We were big fans of these on the Corner 3 show. So
fiber.
Shout out to the fiber. All right, so let's get right into the conference finals. So. I think we'll talk about the series that's already going on.
Yeah.
It's already 2 games in. Quickly, Golden State's up 2-0. So obviously the talk of the series, even after Game 2, is Kawhi Leonard's left ankle, which was already injured twice in the Rockets series, and Zaza Pachulia's closeout. So I'll start with Zach. Your take on, I put here in the notes, intentional or reckless? The closeout itself.
I think it's just more reckless. I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah.
I honestly think he was trying to contest the shot. He keeps moving.
He's trying to get really tight.
He's not purposely like, hey, I'm going to keep sticking my foot out here so he lands on it.
But I think like Pop said, like, you ever heard of manslaughter? Like, it's being so reckless to the point that like the way you play is reckless, so you're putting other people in danger.
Yeah, but Pop had no problem with that when Bruce Bowen did it.
Yeah, that's the thing too. And I always hated Bruce Bowen as a fan growing up because I used to love the Suns, and I remember he chucked Steve Nash into the scoreboard.
Yep.
So
I mean, I can understand his argument, but like you got away with it for years, man.
Yeah, that's so
like,
true.
Hey, Bruce, go do what you do.
Hypocrite.
But I like Pop just sticking up for his guys.
No, that was an interesting after the interview, and then he goes follow up at the end. That was pretty good.
He's the best, man.
No, I agree with you, Zach. I don't think he's doing any of that stuff on purpose. Zaza, I think he's just clumsy, reckless. Sure. I mean, they showed clips of all the different things that he's done in his past, where I don't think he's intentionally going, I'm going to grab this guy's arm and pull it out. He's just falling, and he's like, oh, the guy's falling with me. Well, I'll just go with it, kind of thing. Like he's not going out of his way to hurt someone. He's just in the moment, and like that shot with Kawhi, I think he wanted to close out really tight, and he just kept going. And
the way he acted, do you think it would be like it was Draymond Green out there doing something? And like Draymond Green is way worse than Zaza. Yeah. I don't think it's intentionally.
Draymond hasn't kicked anybody in the groin in a while.
He's learned.
Interesting. I thought he said that was a natural reaction. His legs just did that, right?
Yeah, we'll wait and see the finals.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Cleveland brings the best out of Draymond. So, all right, so Golden State's up 2-0. There's a chance that there's optimism that Kawhi will return for Game 3.
They have 5 days off, right?
They have a lot of time off here. I mean, do you guys think that there's any way they climbed back once after Houston blew them out? Do you think there's any chance that San Antonio can figure something out here in a few days?
I mean, honestly, I think because Kawhi's been out and they're down 2, I think they're going to get swept.
Really? You think they're going to get swept?
I think they're going to get swept.
I'm calling a sweep, too. I think it's over. This will be not a fun conference finals on both sides.
Does that mean if they sweep them, did the Warriors sweep all rounds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they lost a game.
Cavs also swept all rounds, yeah.
So far
this season.
Game 1's tonight, so.
Yeah.
So you have Golden State before?
Yeah, they're 2-0. I think
and
they
Curry's
smell blood.
Curry's been heating up, too. Curry's been like 2015.
After
Curry.
that terrible first game, and then
It's like the scary thing, though. Like, I think a lot of people they know the Warriors are there, but they're not really paying attention to them.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing is like Steph Curry's heating up. And next thing you know, Klay Thompson's heating up. Next thing you know, Draymond's going to do something. And look at this. They have Kevin Durant now. It's like, oh my gosh, like
it's still unbelievable that this is
like now that it's playoff time, it's like hitting me how good their team is.
It feels unfair, but did you see Golden State have 10 free agents this upcoming offseason?
Yeah,
I mean, that's what you
all
gotta
their
do.
bench guys though, right? And Curry.
Yeah. besides Curry.
And didn't Kevin Durant sign like a 1-on-1? So he has to sign a new contract.
Yeah, I think Durant, but he'll probably opt.
No, I think he does. I think he is under contract.
Oh, he's a 1.
No,
I'll look it up. Keep going.
He's a 1 because.
Is it a team option or a player option? I don't know. He's looking it up.
Otherwise, I feel like I would have heard more about it. Like, will Curry leave the Warriors? Or not Curry, but Durant leave the Warriors?
I think Curry's up, but I also think, it's a done deal that he's going to return because I think they can offer him.
He's not going to Charlotte. Sorry, Hornets fans.
Player option for Durant next year.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a 1-on-1.
But everything's going up.
What about Curry?
So he'll probably opt out.
I think he's a full-fledged free agent, ain't he?
Yeah, I think he is. Do you guys remember when I talked about this months ago? But my hot take, super hot fire,
gosh.
Curry will leave. The only way Curry will leave is if he leaves for Charlotte, and then if you remember who I said who would replace him on the Warriors, the one guy who's from Oakland and in the Western Conference, Damian Lillard.
Oh, Damian.
Yeah, he's from Oakland. I still think that's a possibility.
I don't see Curry leaving to go somewhere where
He's
they would.
He's talked about how much he would like to play, though.
But they're terrible.
That could be a thing.
So
where
what is it? So he's an outright free agent.
He'll be a free agent.
Outright
straight
that
up.
could be a thing like, hey, I can play with these guys for the next 5 years and win 3 championships. And then towards the end, once we have to break up for real, then
I don't think it'll happen now. I'm thinking like he'll sign like a short-term deal for the CBA, but I don't know. So
I think that's more of an end of career move.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm pulling up all the free agents for Golden State. So yeah, Curry, Iguodala, bunch of bench guys. Livingston, Zaza, Verjao, David West.
It's basically their entire team.
McGee, Clark, McAdoo,
except for their rookies.
Barnes, McCaw.
McCaw. I really like McCaw, by the way.
So the only
really
one's
good.
under contract. Thompson, Green.
That's it. And
Looney and
McCaw.
Damian Jones.
their luxury tax bill is going to be.
But I can see a lot of those guys, especially the older guys, Iguodala, Livingston, taking discounts to stay with that kind of an organization.
Well, yeah. So who'd you have? So he had.
I have
Golden
a
State.
sweep. I got a
sweep.
I'm going to say Golden State in 5. I think
they get one.
I think Spurs have to win one. I don't know. All right. So now let's get into the Eastern Conference Finals. We've got Cleveland and Boston. Game 1 will start in about 45 minutes. So again, we're recording this on Wednesday night, just before Game 1. So Cleveland, I don't even remember the last time I watched Cleveland on TV. It's been so long since they've played, given that, Game 7 with the Wizards and Celtics. So Cleveland obviously got a ton of rest. It's in Boston, though, because, again, Boston made it late season charge for the 1 seed. So I'll just get your guys' thoughts.
I hope this is not a sweep. I hope this is actual series for once. For ratings, for my sanity, for anything.
Something fun to watch.
So I want to watch some fun basketball for once this playoffs.
Yeah.
I ultimately think Cleveland will move on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Cleveland in 6. I'd love to see Boston have some success against Cleveland, show that they don't have to blow it up this summer. They don't have to do anything crazy. Maybe they move that number 1 pick for another piece that gets them over the hump. Because honestly, a rookie is not going to get you. You're not going to play
past
a rookie
Cleveland,
past Cleveland. So you move that pick to help you out to get past Cleveland in the future. I just think it's playoff time, LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love, it's too much. Because LeBron just turns it up to another notch. But I think it's Cleveland at 6 for me.
Boston has 3 guys to throw at LeBron. He's the one you have to stop, or at least focus on. Not stop. Right. One slow down. I'm actually taking Cleveland as a sweep on this one.
Oh, wow.
I mean...
Oh, crap.
Boston just went 7 games against Washington.
Yeah.
We got to see who Washington was. They weren't that good. They had 2 players.
But
go ahead.
Wasn't everyone talking about the Wizards being maybe even a better competitor to the Cavs before the Boston-Washington series?
Sorry, I was getting baby text. I'm sorry.
So you're calling a sweep on both sides. I think that'll be the first time ever.
Is that
2 teams have both gone
swept all the way through
12-0?
I think the most likely team to win a game would be Boston, but I do feel Cleveland, all that rest and with all that shooting, I think Cleveland is going to just keep rolling. They just crushed the Raptors without even trying.
I don't know. Brad Stevens a way better coach than
Well, that's for sure, yeah.
Boston's got depth.
I mean, okay, Boston, Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie, maybe they cancel each other out. Neither of them can play defense on each other, so they're both going to score 30, whatever. That's done. Then you got Bradley, Crowder, who else? Smart to throw at LeBron. They can get their fouls, whatever. Who else is going to score in Boston?
Olynyk.
You're gonna need.
Horford.
Okay, Horford. I forgot about Horford.
Well-
You're gonna need a third player, a fourth player to actually put up points, like Olynyk did in Game 7.
I put this in the outline though, because I think this is what it's going to come down to: the depth that Boston can play with versus Cleveland's experience. So think about the benches on these two teams. So with Boston, you have Marcus Smart, you have Kelly Olynyk, you have Terry Rozier, Jaylen Brown, who came on late in that series. So those are four guys right there. And Joe Green had a huge impact in the Bulls series, surprisingly. But then you look at and then Jerebko, of course. You know, huge Jerebko fan.
He's not going to get to play at all.
But then on Cleveland's side, I mean, I don't think many people have been talking about this like they should, but the play that Darren Williams, Richard Jefferson, Channing Frye, guys who've been in the league for a long time, the level they've been playing at is crazy. I mean, they've been keeping the Cavs afloat in some of these games where, like against the Pacers. I mean, Channing Frye hit the 3-point shot to seal the game off for them in Game 3. They've got a lot of players with a lot of experience who you wouldn't think would be, making the push for them, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about that. I think it's the depth that Boston has versus that experience of like 3 or 4 guys.
I really hope you guys are right. I want to see some competitive series, but I feel like I've always kind of shortchanged the Cavs and wanting them to lose maybe. So I'm just. It's inevitable. It's going to be Cavs, Warriors, so let's give them the sweep in my
6-4.
5.
6-4-5, all Cavs.
Yeah, all Cavs.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, Boston. You just need
so
another year.
Us on the Corner 3 show, like a majority of people, so this is not a hot take. We have Golden State and Cleveland in the NBA championship for this trophy right here, the Larry O'Brien
This is
trophy.
the actual replica of the.
1/3. It's a 2/3 size of the actual trophy.
No, it's the.
You didn't get the
trophy.
real size. I
No,
mean,
it was like $300. This was $180.
So for those
that
listening on the
makes
pod,
sense.
we do have a pretty awesome Larry O'Brien replica trophy here in studio.
NBA 2K tournament.
NBA 2K tournament.
which Zach is the current holder of, by the way.
One love.
You should see his setup over here. It is about as man cavey as you can get.
The basement is where it goes down.
Basement's where it goes down. Just ask Georgia Watt. Special inside joke.
He doesn't even listen to that show.
He should though. He should after this. Or
I
Jake.
listened to 3 minutes of your podcast.
Jake will show it. He did say something like that, right?
Yeah, Jake's our biggest fan.
Yeah, Jake. We all met Jake.
He's been
Masters'
dying.
biggest
He's
fan.
so cool.
Shout out to
Guy is
Jake
so
By the
Masters.
way, I'll just tell this little story. Jake told me like 3 times this weekend. He was like, after the party, he was like, man, Alex Mack was so nice to me. He goes, I was just waiting for him to say something so I could call him the butt crack Mac, and he wouldn't do it.
Hey man, I'm a nice guy. It's all for the show, baby. It's all for the show. You gotta get those clicks.
Gotta be those clicks.
Content is king. All right, so we just went through the conference finals. So obviously, the next biggest story, something that happened just last night, well, Tuesday night, for people listening to this on Thursday, was the draft lottery. So things kind of went as the percentages would say they should go. So Celtics, Lakers, Sixers. So the Lakers do retain their pick. They don't lose their pick. And everything's kind of set up for how most of these mock drafts are projected. And we've got Zach on my right with the Bleacher Report mock draft, and then Ross on my left with a Draft Express mock draft report. So this is the draft order for those of you who haven't already known. So obviously the Celtics get the number 1 pick from Brooklyn after the best trade of this century a couple years ago. The Lakers, Sixers, Suns, Kings, Magic, Timberwolves, Knicks, Mavericks, and then the Kings again from that pick, from that trade with DeMarcus Cousins earlier this year. So that's your top 10. Those are the ones we'll look at. The Pacers, for all of you Pacers fans listening in, because we know we still got to reach out to you fans. They're at 18. So everything's kind of set up for the Lonzo to the Lakers. And possibly, and Fultz to the Celtics. So, I guess might as well talk about it right now. Do you guys think that the Celtics will actually take Fultz and keep him?
That's what I was asking you on the way before we recorded. Because isn't Fultz supposed to be a point guard, right? Even though he's a lot taller and longer, he could be a combo. Yeah. You take him as he's your future shooting guard, your future 2. I don't know. I think they'll keep it. If I was reading more about Fultz while you were talking, that he looks more like he could play that combo guard for them and keep Isaiah as the 1. I mean, especially after you watched Isaiah Thomas in these playoffs? Before the season, you thought maybe
6. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Fultz is hard to spell. Or
No.
Markel.
Contract.
Anyway, you got to see Isaiah Thomas is a lot better than maybe we thought he was. So you're going to want to keep him, especially if the Celtics. So I think they do keep it, and they keep Fultz.
We're trying to. We can't spell contract in here.
No, Zach can't spell
By the
contract.
way,
I can spell contract.
Just a reminder, I thought it'd be kind of fun.
He signed a big one a couple years ago.
That Nets Celtics pick was 2013. Brooklyn received Garnett, Pierce, Jason Terry, and DJ White, IU fame. Boston got Gerald Wallace, Chris Humphries, Marshawn Brooks, Chris Joseph, Keith Bogans. 3 first-round picks.
What a terrible
14,
trade.
16, and 18.
Gosh.
Plus the right to swap first-rounders in 17, which they just did. So they got
Man.
they got 4 first-round picks.
I think it's redundant to have Fultz. That's just
ridiculous.
me.
Yeah.
Because you got Thomas already.
So would you
who
trade
needs
the
the
pick?
ball? I would trade it or try to do something else with her. Maybe through your workouts and the combine and stuff. I'm all right for that. Maybe through your
think I liked it as
combine and stuff like that, you find somebody you like better. But you have Markel Fultz who needs the ball, Isaiah Thomas who needs the ball.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas was a nobody before he came to the Celtics, and he's developed into a guy who's the leader of the team, and he needs the ball in his hands to be a playmaker. So you're taking away those opportunities for him by drafting Fultz. Plus, Bradley's still got another year under his contract. So what are you going to do? You're going to put Fultz out there to take away a defensive stopper at the 2 guard and play those two together? It doesn't make any sense to me unless you truly think he's a superstar and he can play. He'll have to play the 2 guard because Isaiah Thomas is too short to play anything else.
So if they don't trade it, you see them shocking people and taking like Josh Jackson or Tatum or something like that, number 1.
I mean, if you find a pick that you like and you think is better than everybody else, or maybe they trade down. They trade that number 1 pick for maybe a 6 or maybe they trade the number 1 pick for 5 and 10.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Sacramento would do that, I'm sure.
I was thinking about that. The Kings obviously needed a centerpiece, but all right, you go ahead. You were talking about. You want to talk about?
Go ahead.
No, I mean I was just thinking that. I really like De'Aaron Fox. I was talking about this with Ross on the way down here. I really, really, really like him. I mean, he took Lonzo Ball to task in the NCAA tournament. I really like him at 5. I think he could even go 3. The Bleacher Report has Malik Monk going at 3, which is I haven't seen Malik Monk going at 3 at many of them, so that's pretty surprising. On Draft Express, we've got who's at number 3 with Draft Express? They've got Josh Jackson, which is most people's top 3 right now is Jackson, Ball, and Fultz. I really like Fox. I think he can be a guy from day one. He's kind of like John Wall, very pesky. He's a better defender than John Wall, I'd probably say, but just lightning quick and can get to the rim in an instant.
Do you think the Lakers keep the 2 and actually take Lonzo Ball?
I got my hot takes. I'll wait for you guys.
I don't know, man. This is such a deep draft. They have the top 3 as Fultz, Ball, and maybe Monk. Personally, my top 3 are Jackson, Fox, and Tatum. I think Tatum's just
I like that.
awesome from Duke.
Oh, yeah, I agree there.
It's a deep draft. This is like one of those drafts where
There's
you had that pick. If I was a fan of Boston or LA, I'd have no problem at all trading down to get another first round pick.
Yeah, there's no clear cut absolutely number 1. I mean, Fultz is pretty close to that, but it's not like a LeBron or whatever, et cetera. What I think is really interesting is the 1 and the 2, Boston and LA both have point guards right now, right?
Exactly.
D'Angelo Russell and Isaiah Thomas, and supposedly the top 2 prospects are point guards with Ball and Fultz. So it's interesting. What are they going to do? Are they going to take what they said? Are they going to draft somebody different
I've
or
seen some
trade
teams
it?
are interested in Russell. I know I've seen that on some rumors.
Really?
Teams
Yeah.
are calling for
And
that.
Russell, keep in mind, he's 6'6", so it's not like he's a smaller guard. Whereas, I was listening, I think, to the Ringer NBA show, and they were talking about how, Isaiah Thomas is 5'7", and to pair him with a bad defensive guard is just not good.
Exactly.
So, but with the Lakers, with Russell being such a big guard, you can kind of get away with having, not as great of a defender given his size. But my hot take here, so LeVar Ball came out today actually and said that Lonzo will not be working out for any team but the Lakers.
Wouldn't you be like, Dad, just be quiet?
He had a lot of bad stuff.
I
today.
think, he got into it. It was
that with the girl from the Herd Show.
Yeah. My hot take is that he falls. I don't think the Lakers will take him. I read that the Lakers really want him and Fox to come in with a workout together because they want to see if Lonzo Ball can bring that competitiveness to.
If it was one bad game, or if
he's like so nonchalant, like he's just like, oh,
it's too nonchalant. Like the talent is there, but you
the
need
drive,
that,
the fire, maybe not.
Yeah,
doesn't look like it's there. No, I agree with that. That'd be interesting. It'd be very entertaining for us as fans to watch the Ball family fall.
Yeah,
at least down the draft and see what LeVar would say. And what if one Pacer writer, Whitney, I think, put up, what if the Lakers trade all that stuff and the 2 for Paul George, and then the Pacers take Lonzo? Wouldn't that be?
Gosh.
He would probably do like an Elway and say, "I am not coming to Indiana."
LeVar Ball is not. I'm sorry, I love Indy to death. Naptown 317 till I die. But LeVar Ball will not let Lonzo Ball get on a plane to Indianapolis.
I wouldn't want him here. It's too much.
No, I wouldn't want him here.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
I would not want that
at
all. Indiana basketball purists would just repulse LeVar Ball.
It'd be hard to be a fan those years with him. It's not going to happen. I just thought it was an interesting idea. We kind of did 1, 2, 3. Philadelphia, nice. They get number 3, and in addition with Ben Simmons coming back.
Bill Simmons at the point guard next year will be even more interesting than
that
Ben
would be
Simmons at the
interesting,
point guard next year.
Well, they need to take a guard for once. They've taken big men like
they
5 years in a row.
They need a good scorer.
Jackson or Tatum?
I don't know.
Or Monk. Who would be?
Well, you think you got Embiid at center. You've got Simmons, who's going to play small forward.
I wouldn't be surprised if they trade down and take like Dennis Smith around 10.
They need a point guard. I think they would take Fox.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade down and try to pair Simmons with some combo guard. But I don't know.
I still feel like they would need a point guard. McConnell's good, but he's a backup.
Solid backup.
Yeah.
Watch McConnell sign with the Spurs and become an all-star.
Tony Parker 2.0.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anything else on the lot? I mean, the rest of it then just kind of fills in.
Now, everyone's doing their summer workouts. Guys, I think they have till May 23rd, is it? Till they have to decide if they want to come back or not?
Yeah, like Caleb Swanigan tried out for the Pacers.
I was going to say let's do a little college hoop segment because we can a little bit right now. So, IU-wise, the only player who's... Well, so Anunoby obviously gone. Bryant left. Blackman was a big surprise. He also... is gone to the draft.
That was a poor decision.
And so this is weird. His father reported that he is coming back. Then Robert Johnson tweeted from his Twitter account that, I don't know, I had to say his Twitter account, everyone knows what tweeted means, that he actually hasn't made a decision yet, but I assume he's coming back. But with Purdue, they obviously still have one, because Isaac Hodge just said today that he will not be entering the draft.
Isn't it the 25th is the deadline?
It's sometime later.
They got a couple more days, yeah. So Swanigan hasn't declared yet. That's why
May 24th.
There you go. Excuse me. But he was trying out for the Pacers. Pacers also tried out Jordan Bell from Oregon.
The other guy from Oregon today, Brooks.
There you go. And there's a couple other ones.
You like Bell?
You would like Bell?
He's undersized though.
He can block so many shots.
He's like a 6'9".
Yeah, I thought he was like shorter than that. I think
is he?
7.
I mean, athletic freak for sure, but
I don't know.
He's kind of like a Miles Turner, but no jumper.
If Caleb Swanigan stayed in the draft, would you take him at 18?
Yes. I have Purdue fans who say if he's thinking about going, he should go now because I feel like it's kind of similar to like the Thomas Bryant thing where if he'd gone out the freshman year, he would have been taken as a lottery.
I was talking to PJ Thompson. Oh, this is a Corner 3 show inside source report, hot take alert. I was talking to PJ Thompson yesterday at the gym, and he said that Caleb Swanigan, Biggie, is at 240, and at the end of the season, he's around 260.
Yeah, I was like, he looked a lot thinner.
So 20 pounds. He's obviously, PJ said all he's been doing is just straight cardio every day. So.
I think it'd be worth the Pacers pick is 18. That's pretty late. Last time they drafted near that, I think 17 was Roy Hibbert. I want to say I'd be okay with a Swanigan pick personally if I was a Pacer
they
fan.
have him in the second round on here.
Yeah, DraftNet has him.
I mean,
44th. Where do they have him?
Draft Express here have the Pacers taking somebody different. Where do they have Swanigan? Hey, I'm gonna keep scrolling.
Do the Control F.
Control find.
Control find.
They have Bell as the 33rd pick, so second round.
Yeah, it seems like the Pacers right now haven't.
They tried Lindarius.
And in Ojulier, however you say his name. It's
Swanigan at 40.
It feels like the Pacers,
so middle of the second round,
haven't really worked out anybody who they see going in the first round, like in their 18 pick. Yeah. I feel like they've worked out a bunch of second round guys.
I mean, if you could get
I want that.
Yeah,
I want
that. I'd take PJ Dozier in the second round.
That's the second round for sure. Lock that one in. Sorry.
Or if you can get Bell in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, this draft is just loaded. I mean,
even
there's
the
so many
round,
talented players. You know what a guy I really like, and I
pick.
see him. He was in the second round on Draft Express, but he's in the first round on NBA DraftNet is Frank Jackson of Duke. He didn't really play that much on Duke, but he's super athletic point guard, like 6'3", 6'4", crazy vertical. I mean, just super athletic. I really, really, really liked him. He's like 18.5. So
Pacers tried out Sindarius Thornwell too. Remember him from Carolina?
He's one of those guys who's just like a solid college player.
Yeah,
like man guys.
I feel
mean, how
like,
old is he too? How old is he?
Oh, he's
almost
older.
23.
He's older than you
He
think.
could be one of those guys that he's so solid he can contribute right away.
I feel like you've seen
like,
his peak though. Like he's not going to get any better, right?
I don't know.
I mean, pretty good in college.
It's crazy though how young some of these guys are, and then how old is Frank Mason? Can you look? Where was he at? He was up, wasn't he? So Frank Mason is already 23 years old. So, and then you've got a guy, like Frank Jackson who's like 18.5. It's like those 5 years of investment of the guy of the same, position. That's huge. I mean, we've talked about this numerous times, age-wise. I like that. I'm thinking about that too. Sumner, given that he tore his ACL, but if he could fall enough and far enough in the second round.
Yeah, because even since he's been injured, he's been in every mock draft.
Yeah.
As a pick.
Because he's too stupid athletic. I mean, this is just a little a preview of our NBA draft pod. It'll be a fun pod. What we'll do is we'll break everything down. I think we should do maybe just make our own mock first round at least.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
I'm up for that.
Mock,
And then what we could do is also, I don't know, like Pacers priorities. I guess we can do that in like a Pacers breakdown pod.
So Frank Mason's 23, Sindarius is 20.
How old is Frank Jackson?
4.
He's like barely.
Frank Jackson of Duke.
I mean, I really like this guy. He committed at the last. I mean, he put himself in just recently.
Oh, not gonna make it easy on me. I gotta dig.
Go to his bio.
There it is.
You're listening in on deep research here at
How fast can you Google things?
it doesn't even look like you can find a date.
Come on.
No. But Frank Jackson's a young guy.
Yeah.
Born in 98. Do the math.
Jeez.
98.
That's stupid.
So he's 19, yeah.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah. 19.
It's always worth a look. I mean, how old was Booker or Devin Booker when he came out?
Like 18.
Yeah, he was like
18.5.
Now look at him. He scored.
He's 20.
We talked about this on the previous
Crazy amount of
podcast.
points.
You'd rather take an 18, 19-year-old than a 23, 24-year-old.
With the talent pool is out there because of the one and done rule. I mean, like Gary Harris is the perfect example. We've talked about that before. Yep. I mean, he played 2 years at Michigan State and 3 years in the NBA so far.
It just reminded me how uninterested he looked at being at the draft lottery last night. Like,
yeah.
I mean, literally everybody looked pretty uninterested at being there. Like, I don't know why they have such a show.
If you weren't the 1, 2, 3, or 4, it was like why am I even here?
Yeah. Oh well.
Like just
Denver was what?
Just have like they do for like the college football. You just
13.
have like 4 reporters in there and in front of a green screen or something,
and they just go like review and like break it down.
Yeah, and break it down. So just have those people show up and just sit there and look disappointed on their face like they don't care.
Did you see Magic Johnson when they got the 2 though? He's like, ah.
Yeah.
And then Embiid's like, oh my god.
He's like, yes, Jimmy Kimmel, please keep talking to Paul George, please.
Did you guys watch the interview?
It was
7 minutes.
It's just.
He didn't really.
No, he didn't give.
He handled it well, I thought. I mean, he's just like, yeah, it's funny, and it's getting annoying because at theme parks they're like, hey, Paul, come here. You're like, guys.
Yeah.
I understand. I know.
I mean, that's why I was saying we got those text messages from people. It's like he still has another year under contract.
Yeah.
And we'll find out tonight.
Tomorrow night.
It was today.
If he gets their team.
Yeah,
today, Thursday. Has your opinion changed if Fiji is gonna stay or leave? That's a random, just off the topic.
I think if they don't trade him, he stays. I still think that. I think if they're going to trade him, they're going to package it since they know what the lottery format is now.
Yeah.
They know where everybody's picks are.
I think I'm with Alex a little bit. I feel like he's staying. Even if he makes the All-NBA or not, I feel like Paul George is staying. It's all the national media blowing it out of proportion,
shoes,
trying to make a thing
everything
of it.
you read, his shoes, things about Tamika Catchings and Reggie. And
he hasn't said anything either way. I mean, obviously he wouldn't, but...
I mean, just wait and see. It's stupid to speculate.
Really, that's true.
But that's what we do here on the Corser Show. We speculate.
Because it's fun to listen to.
All right.
To think about.
Anything else, fellas? It's good to be back. It's good.
Yeah.
Good to be back in
Been a
the.
while.
I can't wait for the draft show. I
fun.
really get excited for the draft every year. I think it's a lot of
I
fun.
do too. I love Summer League. I don't know about you guys.
Me too.
I
Except the Pacers
love-
always trade their draft picks, so it's like...
I love Summer League. I love Summer League so much.
Yeah, when Joe Young drops 35, you're like, he's going to be good.
Also, because you get to see guys who you loved in college and still won't never make it, but you get to see them kind of.
I'll see him in the D League next year. Yeah.
All right,
James Blackman.
Anything else, fellas?
Excuse me.
Anything else? Any other shout outs? Okay,
I don't
nothing.
know. I think
No,
we're
I'm good.
Nothing.
Jake Master just Snapchat me, so
Oh, you did?
yeah, I haven't looked at it yet.
Number
We'll
one
look
Corner 3 Show
off-camera.
fan. Good to meet our number one fan at our huge party that was thrown
House got torn
by
apart.
Jackson Lovelace for us.
Congratulations, J-Lo.
Congratulations, J. Lauren, graduating high school.
I hope you're keeping up in my card I put.
If you didn't
To accept the money, you have to keep
If you
watching
didn't
the show.
graduate, we'd have a bigger issue here. But congratulations, sir. That does it for us. Ross, I didn't even say anything. Just Ross, go ahead.
Thank you. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Mostly Twitter. We're all on there at our individual accounts, but also the main account. Check us out.
Then we got, obviously, if you're watching this, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play. You can also email us at thecorner3show@gmail.com.
Yeah, let people know. Share the link to iTunes. Get them
Oh.
subscribed.
We had a question. Do we want to address that or save that?
We did have a Jake Masters question.
I'm sorry, Jake. Just
No,
now thought of it. Question, but it was pretty much what song makes you think of basketball?
I'll get you going. So
Keep going.
mine not even close. Lose Yourself by Eminem. First of all, I just love the guitar intro and the beat throughout the whole song. And also, for the Pacers, Jake Masters doesn't know this, but when the Pacers go through their visitor introductions, they just repeat that guitar intro. Dun, 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 dun. They just replay that over and over and over during the visitor intros. And just gets those
Those goosebumps.
those goosebumps flowing. Goosebumps can't flow, but they flow regardless. Ross?
I don't have the song. I don't have the title in my head. What's the Bulls starting lineup song from when Jordan was there?
I mean, it's like the Space Jam.
Anything from Space Jam really locks it in for me. But I also think Basketball Jones with Chris Rock and Barry White. You remember that one? No? Basketball Jones.
Nope.
You got a Basketball Jones.
Zach?
Mine's
You got a
Mine's that
Basketball
electronic
Jones.
song, techno song, Sandstorm. They played it before every dating game. That's how I know that. Oh, here comes Alex's.
And as we go out from this awesome
I got to
Corner
find
three-
mine too. Come on.
Corner 3 show, we're gonna go out on the Lose Yourself guitar intro, and
Oh, stupid advertisement. Never mind.
we're just gonna let you people listen to this bad boy, because this
Stalling.
is where it's at.
Stalling. Stalling. All
Uh-huh.
right, I'll give
Oh
you
yeah,
that
all
one.
right,
I'll give you that one.
right,
Yeah, that's pretty
right.
Yeah.
You had. That does it for us with the Corner 3 show. We'll check you next time, people.
See ya.
Peace.
Sees